Thank you, Texas State University, for reminding me to record this. I'm sorry for anyone watching this that missed the first 8 minutes. So anyways, we're just now starting to talk about this list of courses here. So anyone who missed the first 8 minutes, you're just kind of coming in on, we're talking about Afrofuturism. So Afrofuturism it actually is kind of a design course, in that the sort of the conceptual framework for Afrofuturism is that African American writers are designing solutions for African Americans of the future. Okay, now I'm not the professor of this. He could explain this much more eloquently to you, but as far as the assignment goes, they were sort of embedding this idea of problem solving and literature, where the students would be contributing to a collaborative wiki to write a story, to write a piece of literature, and then using the FabLab to 3D print objects from that story. The other English course right below it, the Writing, Rhetoric, and Multimedia Authoring, that is really more of a straightforward, just the concept of having an idea and being able to communicate that idea. And the professor had her students write a paper, take photographs, and create an object. And those are 3 different modes of being able to communicate an idea. So as you can see, you can get kind of like out there as to how you're going to incorporate your assignment into the Makerspace. The CSC 3311, that actually was a really interesting service learning course. They didn't make actual objects in Makerspace. What they did is they programmed software that our Makerspace, the FabLab, could use. We have a system called the Fab app that does a lot of different things to sort of administer the Makerspace. And they needed some people to write additional modules for the Fab app, and we basically brought in CSC 3311 to help do that. And actually, there were 4 groups, or 4 to 6. I think there were 6 groups total of students, and we actually adopted one of the group's projects and made it part of our Fab app. The technical communication course at the bottom, another English course, that was a proposal writing course, and there were four teams in the class. Each had like 5 or 6 students in the team. 2 of the teams wrote proposal. One of them wrote an actual grant proposal on creating a multidisciplinary course using the FabLab. Some of them, 2 of the teams wrote marketing proposals for the FabLab. But in any case, they had to get into the FabLab and sort of learn some of the equipment so that they could write their materials. So the point I'm trying to make here is that not every class comes into the FabLab and actually makes a thing. We can brainstorm with the professor and come up with some sort of creative ways that they can get the students in the FabLab working in teams and talking about technology without actually having to make a thing. So where we're at now, so the first year of this program, we didn't put a lot of emphasis on assessment. We knew that we would be getting to that eventually, but because we were just trying to get the program off the ground and get some courses started, we basically let the professors of each course do their own assessment, and we didn't pay too much attention to it. Over the summer, my team did an evaluation of all the materials that we received, all the assessment materials, and realized that we had a lot of anecdotal reports, professors that were very proud of their students and what they accomplished, and basically saying that they had definitely acquired some new competencies and some new skills by using the FabLab. But we didn't really see the data that we needed to be able to show someone, for example, an accreditor, or if the FabLab were facing budget cuts or something, we want to be able to show them that, look, students are using the FabLab, and we can show these numbers that show that they're learning these skills. So we decided that we were going to do, starting this semester, including the 6 courses that we've got going on right now in the program, we require minimum standards for assessment. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're developing those tools. what we come up with so far is in the matter of a pre and post self-evaluation. What we're looking for, we don't really care to see specific or individual students' grades or really what their specific students' assessment data. What we want to see is aggregate data so that we can compare groups of people and see if they've gained any competency in a specific skill since they entered the course. So we're using a Likert scale methodology to do a pre and post. And we actually added a twist to that, which is, I'm not really sure how unique this is. It's the first time I've seen it done, but it was something proposed by one of our team members. And it seems to his experience, because he's taught undergraduate courses before, he says that it does, you get some really fancy sort of analysis out of doing it this way. So if you look at the slides here, the slide of the pre and post example, you'll see that on the pre assessment, students are asked to rate themselves on a skill. And you can see a few of the skills listed there. Those are all from the time management competency. And each of the competencies in our long list will have a set of questions similar to this. Then for each of those skills, on the post test, we break it into 2 questions. So we ask them to rate themselves now at the time of the end of the semester. And we ask them to think back to the beginning of the semester and re-rate themselves on how they think they were, like what their competency was at the beginning of the semester. My colleague, Morgan, who has used this method in his teaching, he says that what he's found is that students tend to overrate themselves at the beginning of the semester. But then at the end of the semester, when they're forced to reflect back and think about where they really were at the beginning of the semester, that you can see some huge differences. He says that a lot of times, if you just use a regular pre and post with the same question, you would find that students know more, they know less at the end of the semester than they did at the beginning of the semester. But by throwing in this second iteration of the question, asking them to reflect back, you can actually see a difference because they're forced to sort of think about that difference. So this is really important for us because we spent a good year and a half on this project, and we've been I've been looking for anything published in the literature relating to measuring student learning in makerspaces and how it's being done. There's really nothing there, especially in the higher education level. There's quite a bit of stuff in the K through 12 realm. So we're really hoping to be able to use this data to fill a gap in the literature. And we have actually been granted an IMLS grant to expand this work. We are currently, the grant officially started in July, but we're just now wrapping up the first phase of it, which is basically to identify 4 program partners, partners from around the country, geographically diverse. So we kind of want to set up a locus of expertise in various areas of the country. So we want to make sure that it's kind of spread out. So we'll have someone in the Northeast, someone in the Northwest, someone in the South, someone in the sort of the Midwest, all kind of rolling up a similar program at their university or seriously at their academic library makerspaces. It has to be that specific because that's what the grant is for. So we'll have at least 5, in the spring of 2018, we will have at least 5 academic library makerspaces that are implementing similar programs at their spaces and doing similar measurement. So at the end of this grant, we will actually have some data, some real data from a diverse cross-section of courses, geographically diverse locations, and then we'll be able to compare data from course to course using those pre and post methods. The goal here is to create the ultimate goal. I mean, we have several goals, but the ultimate goal is to create a repository of open educational resources so that anyone in the world that's interested in doing this type of thing can go to that repository, download the competencies, the assignment that was used for whatever discipline that they're teaching, and the assessment tools, and be able to reproduce those, or even since they'll be licensed under Creative Commons licensing, they'll be able to adapt them to their own needs. And I'm actually just on time for the end of my presentation. I can answer questions, but before I do that, I want to not forget to post those links for you guys. So let me go ahead and do that now. You can go ahead and type in questions as I'm looking up these links if you want to do that, and then I'll come back and answer your questions. We have about, looks like about 12 minutes. So just bear with me for a second. So this first link is to our blog. For the time being, this is where we're posting all of our updates for the grant and anything else that we're doing here regarding this program. Eventually we'll migrate to a real website. It's just we haven't gotten there yet. The second link I'm about to post actually goes to our to the list of competencies, the maker-based competencies. And the third thing is actually that paper. And I'm not sure if I probably could just upload it. Actually, I know what I can do. I can post a link to it from my Box account. All right, those are the three links I wanted to share. So basically the blog is where you can keep up. There's a lot of information about the courses we did last fall and spring. All the project updates regarding the grant will be posted there. The second link is the list of actual competencies in case you want to look over those. And the third link is to the paper that we presented at ISM a couple of weeks ago that has some more case studies, 3 of those courses. All right, I'm going to go back up and look through your questions. So regarding the assessing in K-12 makerspaces, to be honest with you, when I do my literature review, I don't normally read those papers. I kind of read the titles. But I think the frustration comes is that sometimes the titles will say something like measuring learning in a makerspace, something like that. And then when you actually read the paper, you realize that it doesn't really do much of a very good job assessing or measuring the learning. It kind of talks around, a lot of the stuff I read talks around that topic, but does not directly give you data about that topic. There are a couple of good literature reviews that have been published, and I would be happy to share those with you. I don't have them with me. I can't post a link right now, but I promise you, if you will contact me, I will send you both of those literature reviews, and you'll probably be able to find some stuff in those about the K-12 stuff. Okay, I keep trying to scroll up, and every time someone posts something, it pulls me back down to the bottom, so bear with me. So someone, Danielle mentioned some portfolio-based assessment. We've talked a lot about that, and we're trying to figure out, we really want to figure out a way to do direct assessment in a portfolio ways. We would definitely be, leaning towards portfolio-based or project-based. We haven't honestly just had the time to really put our brains to it. We know there's good ways to do portfolio reviews using rubrics. We just have not sat down and created rubrics that directly speak to our competencies and how we're going to apply those to a portfolio. But that is a good idea. Regarding the ACRL information literacy skills, that's my background. That's where I come from. And I'm actually, this whole sort of program is being designed as that as my model, because that's what I know. But it is a competencies-based program. We're not really speaking specifically about information literacy, but I think you can easily see the difference, the similarities between this program, coming up with a list of competencies and being able to use those as learning outcomes in courses. There actually is there's a blog post on my blog about that topic if you want to read it, about how I started off using the information literacy skills from the ACRL. Whether or not Makerspace